Hi, this is Vicki Romaine with Cheerful Greetings, and today we're going to work with some napkins. And I'm going to show you a couple of cards that I have made, and I'll show you how I made them. It's a very quick process, and at the same time, I'm going to show you how to use your napkin on a pocket for your junk journal. Here's some cards that I have made, and all of them are from napkins. I have not done anything to the inside. I usually make my cards and leave the inside blank so that I can pick the one I want for that particular occasion. And here's one that has a verse on the outside. And I have not put anything on the inside of it either. So let's see how we make these cards. All the napkins that I showed you had a fall theme, and that's what I'll be using this time too. As we go along, I will be giving you some measurements so that you can have the measurements of the various cards. The basic card itself, the part that folds over, is a 5.5 by 4.25 card. I took a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and I cut it in half at the 5.5 point, and then folded my cardstock over. If you will notice, most of these cards have a mat on it, and I think that helps to make the image pop. And the mat itself is 1/4 of an inch difference all the way around. So it is cut at 5.25 by 4. I have pre-cut all of my cards that I'm going to be using today to save time. So I take a folded card here and press it down good on the seam. And I'm going to place my mat so you can see how much difference there is on top of my card. That gives you an idea of what it's going to look like. Then on top of that is the third piece, and that's what I call my focal point. And that is cut on a 3 3/4 by 5 piece of cardstock. Now, what I did was make a small 3 3/4 by 5. In other words, it's not true measurements there. I just cut them just a tad smaller, and you'll see why in a few minutes. Now, I have out my Xyron, and it is a quick way of putting stickiness on my cardstock. It saves me the trouble of using all of my glue, and it's a quick method of running it through. It's actually, you call it a sticker machine because it puts the adhesive on the back side. But I will be using it to put my card together. I place the 4 pieces in there that I'm going to be using, and I spin it through the machine. I'm a little short on space, so I'm going to be folding up the tray that you start the pieces of cardstock through, and continue to roll out my pieces so you can see of how the machine works. I'm going to have to use my scissors to cut the piece off of the roller. Originally, it came with a bar that had a cutter in it, and you just slide it across. But somehow that has gotten broken and taken off. So now I just use a pair of scissors, and it works. I just waste a little more of the adhesive. Okay, now that I've cut my sheet off, what I'm going to do is move my Xyron sticker maker over to the side as I'm working in a fairly small place. Okay, I have my card here, and my next layer is going to be my mat. And so I'm going to pull the mat off next. I want to get the extra film off the top, and the part that is sticky is underneath. So you want to put your items under the little sheet of sticky paper so that the right side is up. You have to be fairly careful putting your mat down on your card. You want to make sure you get it down correctly in the first place. It will come back up if you really, really pull on it, but it's better if you don't have to adjust the position of your mat. Now I have gotten out my focal card, a focal piece of cardstock, and it is sticky on top. Now I flipped it over, and I'm going to look through my napkins here and see what I can find. I still want to continue with the fall theme, but I want to use a different napkin. And I don't think I've made one with this one, so we shall see how it will look. First thing I'm going to do is take the back layer off. Sometimes the napkins will have two layers, and you can tell after you pull the first layer off if there's a second, because the first layer will be very, very thin, your top layer. Now, I'm putting my napkin on top of the sticky focal cardstock, pressing it down. I've got one little teeny-weeny wrinkle that I'm getting out. And now I'm going to trim around my cardstock. The key here is you don't want to trim up close. You want to leave a piece sticking out on the sides. And the reason for this is because you want to be able to fold it down over the edge of the cardstock. I'm using some Allen's glue around the edge on the back of my focal piece. And I am going around all four corners here. And then what I'll be doing is folding my piece of napkin over it. Now, after you fold your napkin over the edge on top of the glue that you've just put down, you can do one of two things. You can either send it back through the Xyron sticker like I did the first time, and this time the napkin will be on top and all the adhesive will be on the bottom, holding the napkin in, as well as all over the piece of cardstock. But for this time, I'm just using the Allen's glue around the edge and in the middle of the cardstock. Running it back through the Xyron sticker maker guarantees that it will not come off, because that stickiness is really thick and it holds nicely. But we're doing it with the glue this time so that you can see both ways. And I'm just going to add a little more of that turbo glue in the center, because I want the center to hold too. Now you will see why you need to be kind of skimpy on that measurement of 3 3/4 by 5, because you want some of your mat to show, and that napkin takes up some of that 1/4 space. And I'm having to adjust mine just a little bit because I want that mat to show all the way around. I have some stickers here that I thought I might be able to use something on it. Most of these are of animals, but I think I might have something in here that will work. We'll just flip through here and see what we have. This is a great little sticker book. It has loads and loads of stickers in it. And here's the page with the butterflies on it. I think I'll pull a couple off here and use them as an additional embellishment to my card. Here's my finished card, and I think that turned out nicely. I'll have to find a burst for the inside, and it's ready to be mailed. So now let's go and make a pocket. And they are always fun to do. We'll set our card to the side, and I'll get rid of my little book of stickers. And I'm going to get another piece of cardstock. That's that 3 3/4 by 5. Again, it's a little on the skimpy side. I cut some extra off, which I really didn't need to in this case, but I did them both at the same time. So the first thing we're going to do is cover our focal napkin after I get my arm out of the sticky cardstock. I'm going to use this napkin with the pretty flowers on it. I think it would be perfect for a vintage junk journal. And what I'm doing now is trimming the excess napkin away from the focal design. The image is fairly large on this napkin, and so I could put it almost anywhere on this piece of cardstock. I have made sure that the back layer is off of my napkin, and I'm going to place it on my piece of cardstock. I'm smoothing out the areas around it, and now I'm going to trim the excess off. And again, I will be putting glue around the edges. I want to make sure it's only around the edges where the napkin is sticking over. This time, I want to make sure that none of the glue is in the middle. I take a couple minutes and pat down the edge of the napkin all the way around. After I have glued the napkin down, I'm going to be putting glue on top of the napkin around the back edges. In other words, I want to make sure that the piece stays in place. So I have glue underneath the napkin on the sides, and then I went back and put glue on top of those folded over edges. Let me see if I can explain this. The napkin is glued down to the cardstock on all 4 sides. Then I go back and put glue on top of that folded over napkin pieces on the side and the bottom, because I do not want the top to stick to my piece of cardstock. And I have pulled a piece of cardstock that I think will match my flowers pretty well. And I have a little piece that's kind of sticking up at the top that I've got to correct right here, but I can fold it down and it goes into the glue. So the bottom and the 2 sides are glued, but the top is not. And as you can see, I now have a pocket. Now the one in the back can be a pocket also. You can glue it on the sides and the bottom and not on the top, and you can trim it to any size you want it to be. I have left it like it is for now because I'm not sure on what page I will put it and how much of a pocket I want. So let's look and see what we have here. I've got my cards that I've made with the napkins, with each one having a mat, and I have a little pocket that I've made with napkins. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, please come back and see me and see what I have in store for you for next time. But I wanted to show you that a napkin can be used in a number of ways, on cards and as pockets. Please come back and see me, and don't forget, please subscribe. Have a great crafting day. Bye.